There's all these different comparison questions that you're getting all the time that you should be addressing online. For years, I'd go on a sales call, I'd hear a question, and I immediately think to myself, Marcus, have you addressed that online yet? You should never tell someone, here's why you should choose this over that. What you should do is give honest comparisons and allow them to choose. Consumer ignorance is no longer a viable sales and marketing strategy. You can own the market, but you can't do it by doing the same things as everyone else. Let's look at a couple more of these problems. Whenever somebody's doing anything, especially with their home, there's all these fears, potential objections, like what could go wrong. So for example, is it true that somebody told me that? What could go wrong if, oh geez. And so we had these with fiberglass pools too. So for example, one of the ones that we used to get all the time is, Marcus, be honest, what are the problems of fiberglass pools? You see, nobody wanted to talk about that. Certainly no fiberglass pool company. Concrete pool builders, constantly taking a dump on fiberglass pools, teaching the market all these negative things about them. So we can either allow the competition to dictate the conversation, or we can own it ourselves. So we openly talked about the problems of fiberglass pools. We said fiberglass pools are not a good fit for everybody. Can't get them wider than 16 feet, longer than 40 feet, deeper than 8 feet. You cannot customize it any way you want. But if you're looking for a low maintenance pool that's going to last you a lifetime, well, then it might be a great fit for you. And here's what happened. Here's a list of the number one phrases that generated the most sales appointments to our website over the next few years. The number one with 56 sales appointments was River Pools and Spas, but I don't count that one because that's our company name. They were looking for us already. The rest of the folks that you see on the screen didn't know who they wanted to engage. They just knew they had a question. So the number one phrase that generated the most sales appointments over the next couple of years was fiberglass pools problems. How is it possible that talking about the negatives of your product could, in this case, generate over $2 million in sales? How's it possible? Education leads to what, Kyle? Trust. Always, that's the answer. If you get stuck, just say trust, and I promise it's right, okay? Trust, good. You know sales, right? The greatest way in life to resolve a concern is to address it when? Is it immediately? It's before it becomes a concern. So let me give you an example just of another company I've worked with. This is one of the better metal roofing manufacturers in the country. They're called Sheffield Metals, and they have the metal roofing channel, and they've been a client of ours for a long time. So here is a classic. They produced this video right here, 7 common problems of a metal roof. This is a metal roofing manufacturer talking about the problems with the thing that they make. Do you see? That's talking about and showing what others aren't willing to talk about and show. And they did this 500,000 views. 500,000 views. This is what people want to know. The only people searching that are people that have a problem with a metal roof or the people that want to buy a metal roof. That's the only 2 people searching that. That's how you own a market. Let's look at comparisons. How many times has somebody asked you before, help me understand the difference between this siding and that siding, this finish and that finish, this product and that product, this shingle and that shingle, this surface and that surface? Over and over, you get comparison-based questions, don't you? Well, the last thing that anybody wants is for you to not address this because they want you to lead them. So I want you to think about you versus your competitor, your method versus their method. There's all these different comparison questions that you're getting all the time that you should be addressing online. You hear them every day on sales calls, which, by the way, that's the best place to get inspiration is sales calls. For years, I'd go on a sales call, I'd hear a question, and I immediately think to myself, Marcus, have you addressed that online yet? If not, you better believe that night, that's what I was going to do. And so, comparisons. I used to get asked the question all the time, Marcus, what's the difference between a concrete, a fiberglass, and a vinyl liner pool? But what's so interesting is nobody wanted to address this question online. No fiberglass pool company did. Do you know why, Kyle? Because here's what's crazy. Fiberglass pool company was saying our biggest competitor is concrete pools. So this is how we're going to deal with this problem of concrete pools. We're not even going to talk about them on our website. And if we don't talk about them, well, then nobody will know a concrete pool exists. Now, isn't that ridiculous? Do you know you get asked about competition-based products all the time and you don't talk about them on your website? Why not? Are you afraid? Matt, are you afraid? I don't believe you are. So do it, Matt. Okay, good. Now, we said, why don't we talk about it? But look at this. Look at the title. Fiberglass versus vinyl versus concrete pools, an honest comparison. Is there an unbiased comparison of fiberglass, vinyl liner, or concrete pools on the internet? So are we coming out biased? No. This is how the buyer thinks. It's not our job to tell them why you should choose fiberglass over concrete. You should never tell someone, here's why you should choose this over that. What you should do is give honest comparisons and allow them to choose, because that's what drives trust, and you don't sound like someone that is biased and trying to schlep them a particular product or service that you offer. You feel me here? This is very important. And because we were willing to address this, if you go online today, you compare any type of in-ground pool, generally we're the first one you're gonna see in those organic search results, and that has generated millions in sales. Here's another one from our roofing manufacturer. Exposed fastener versus standing seam metal roofing. Like, that's so niche, right? 250,000 views. Who wants to know that, by the way? The only person that wants to know that is somebody that's buying that. That's literally the only person that asked that type of question. You feel me here? Now, we've done 3 of the big 5. We've done costs, we've done problems, we've done comparisons. If you're not thinking about different ideas of things you should be addressing online that you haven't addressed, I am failing you. I am failing you. Have you come up with any ideas yet there, Adam? You have? What one are you going to address that you haven't addressed yet? The difference between regular asphalt shingle and SPS modified. Perfect. Perfect. And is it your job to tell them which one is better? That's right. He said no, but he said it with doubt. He said it with doubt. Because you offer one of them, don't you? Oh, you offer both, but you prefer one, don't you? Just say yes, because I know you do. Okay? All right, good. Let's look at the last one. This one is going to take a little bit of cojones. Reviews and best. One night I was in Richmond. This is back when I was still a pool guy, probably 15 years ago. And I was with a couple in Richmond, Virginia. And at the end of being together for 2.5 hours, I gave them a price. And they said, Marcus, we like you. We think we want to get business. We want to get this pool from you. But if we don't get this pool from you, is there anybody else you might recommend? And I thought, man, I hate that question. Y'all ever heard that question? Now, if you heard it, that's good, because it just means that they trust you enough to ask. But how do most contractors answer this question? I'm not saying you, by the way. Most people say, well, I mean, the way we do what we do, nobody's quite like us. I mean, gosh, I don't even know who to tell you. Or we give them the worst guy down the street so they come running back, right? Now, I heard this question and I thought, man, they're probably still looking. I'm probably not going to close this deal. My faith wavered, and rightfully so, because I didn't close it. But I had a long drive home and I was annoyed. And I thought to myself, well, they asked the question, which means what? I got to answer it. So I went home that night and I wrote this article right here. Who are the best pool builders in Richmond, Virginia? Review/ratings. And I came up with a list of 5 of the best pool builders in Richmond, Virginia. First thing, did I put myself on that list of 5? Yes or no? I did not put myself on that list of 5. And you're like, what? Why? Because if they're reading this, where are they? They're on my site and I'm winning. Beyond that, let's just be hypothetical. Let's say you just moved to Richmond, Virginia, and you search best pool builders for Richmond, Virginia. You want to get a pool, you don't know who to ask, so you have to go online, you ask. So I'm going to read these first couple paragraphs. I want you to tell me your impression of this company after the first couple paragraphs, okay? Here we go. Each year, we at River Pools and Spas meet with well over 100 households in the Central Virginia, Richmond area with respect to their in-ground swimming pool installation. And because so many folks know our thoughts and feelings from this website on all things pool construction, they often ask us, who are some of the other builders, competitors we have in the area? We're never one to shy away from being blatantly honest with respect to the competition, and we want our customers to be as informed as possible. Here's a list of some of the companies that have a solid in-ground pool building history in the Richmond area. What's your impression of this company right now? Honest. Do you feel like they're one of the best? Did they say they're one of the best? Yet you feel it. Why? Because they were willing to address the elephant in the room. So what's the result of this? Well, of course, if online you search best pool builders Richmond, Virginia, this is the first one you're going to see. And if not that, let's say you went online and you searched reviews, play more pools, Richmond, Virginia. Now that's my biggest competitor in Richmond, okay? It's play more pools. Once you get past the Yelp result, the first one you're going to see is my article. And that's why today, when you're researching any of my competitors, oftentimes you're going to learn about them where? On my website. Isn't that awesome? I had a lady come to me, I don't know now, it was like 10 years ago, and she said, Marcus, craziest thing happened. I was this close to signing a contract with Playmore Pools, but before I signed that contract, I decided to go online and research their company. And as I was doing that, I stumbled across this article that you guys had written. I said, my goodness, these guys are so honest. I should probably call them too. And of course, you know what happened, don't you, Jared? Because otherwise I wouldn't be telling you the story, right? So that one single article generated over $200,000 in sales that year. And some of you are saying, but aren't you afraid you've now introduced them to the competition? Y'all, if somebody wants to know who your competitors are, roughly how long will it take them to figure it out? Seconds on a slow day, which is why I know and you know that consumer ignorance is no longer a viable sales and marketing strategy. Because we did these things, because we were willing to talk about what no one else is willing to talk about online, we became the most trafficked swimming pool website in the world. You can own the market, but you can't do it by doing the same things as everyone else.